Okay, rumor has it we've got a new ship coming out. It might actually already be out by the time you see this video, or by the time I even publish it, but the MISC Fortune is a new salvaging ship that I think is gonna actually hit some nice spots in the game. I'll explain more, but let's jump into seeing what it's about. Thanks for coming to these reactions. If you want to see more of them, let me know down below. Whatever.
The MISC Fortune is a solo player salvage vessel. It's similar to the Vulture in size and utility.
It is technically a variant of the previous ship, the Prospector, but obviously there's many differences you can benefit from.
This is the first industrial variant we've seen in the game. We are in the age of industry. Like, cargo refactor made it pretty clear. Obviously, salvage being added a couple years ago was a big deal. And I think we're going to start to see more variants and diversity in industrial ships moving forward. This is just the first with an alternative in Vulture or in salvaging. But like, I do think that we're due for a lot more of this kind of stuff in the industrial space, because combat's been seeing this for years now. We're just going to catch up over here. By the way, this is a new series of videos they're putting out from CIG behind the ships. I'm guessing this might be them splitting out ship features from Inside Star Citizen, which could hint that they think they have enough content to cover all the way through an Inside Star Citizen series. We will see. They'll probably have an announcement about how Inside Star Citizen is going to work this year, next week when they release it. But this could mean that we see a little bit more of a focus on content in that show. We'll see.
What we've done is we've sort of tried to push the automatic cargo dispensing mechanism that's on the Vulture a little bit further, and sort of we've combined some of MISC's exterior cargo hold type of mechanic with the salvaging mechanism.
That's kind of nice that it fits with MISC's design. This is another example of them developing the gameplay after they already made ships to sell to fund development of that gameplay, and then the gameplay releases and they see all the ways that they could make a ship that really fits that gameplay, you know, better than the ship that they sold to fund that gameplay, because that ship was cool. This ship is functional. So we can see the things they've learned from salvage gameplay incorporated into this design, and that's something that happens across the ships in this game.
What we're doing with the salvage on the Fortune is we're having the cargo that gets created as you salvage be stored on the exterior as well.
When you go back to the salvage station, there's a panel and you can hit auto eject, or you can just eject it manually. And every time you eject, it will eject it out onto the exterior of the ship, and it will automatically snap it to the cargo grid.
It is pretty cool that you can eject.
Assuming that's a placeholder animation.
The crates simultaneously on each side of the ship if you want to. Seeing them two salvage stations working together in tandem is kind of a new thing for us, so pretty neat. The ship really...
Wait, what? Don't we already do that? Is this to say that both
if you want to, seeing them...
Is this to say, okay, both of these stations are using the same internal storage? Isn't that what the Reclaimer does, though?
Two salvage stations working together in tandem is kind of a new thing for us, so pretty neat. The ship really makes use of all the available space inside of it.
We did complete component pass, nice. So it has everything.
Little tools rack rather than just for rifles and stuff.
Thing exposed. And it has a similar interior as the Prospector, so it's got the same hab and the bathroom and all of that. But we've extended it out so that you can walk from the front all the way to the back.
And then we've got an elevator in the rear for you to be able to...
Dog, see, then we need a gold standard update for the Prospector after this. Prospector better be getting an update with this.
Bring those boxes in and out if you want to, or additional items. So just imagine you're going out into space to salvage some wrecks. You strip the metal off the surface of the vehicle. It'll create boxes on the side of the ship. And then in addition to that, you want to pull off some of the weapons. If they're small enough, you can actually put them in the elevator in the rear as storage. So it's not a dedicated cargo area on the inside, but it should be big enough for you to grab some of the smaller components if you're able to salvage those.
See, now there's not a cargo grid on there though. If I'm not, I mean, maybe there is. I feel like they should have said that, but to tell us to put loose weaponry inside of the ship when we've been like going along this whole time thinking, oh, loose cargo and loose weaponry, that's going to be reactive with physics. That's going to be a problem. We should consider what the official cargo numbers are for ships going forward. It's kind of weird to then be told, well, just throw some stuff in the back of the ship, have it loose hanging out. Like, is that detrimental to the quality of ship items and ship health in the future? I don't know. Might just be a suggestion for now. Might be something that changes in the future, but it's an interesting suggestion just given the way that they're building the ships out.
On the inside, but it should be big enough for you to grab some of the smaller components if you're able to salvage those.
It's got this bubble cockpit that allows you to see just outside anywhere in any direction. It's very similar to the Prospector, so if you like the Prospector cockpit, you're going to love the Fortune cockpit.
We're also going to be going out with the new dashboard that's been created by the UI team for MISC.
That'll be on the Fortune and the Prospector going forward.
Did they already have a MISC UI before? I actually do not recall. Otherwise, that wouldn't really be news, but okay, that's cool.
Like anything else between ships and Star Citizen, it's a trade-off.
While both the Fortune and Vulture are single-seat salvage ships, the Fortune is going to focus a little bit more on convenience for the user because it has one salvage head versus the Vulture's two. It's not going to salvage quite as efficiently, so you might be able to salvage and do hull scraping a little bit faster still using the Vulture. The advantage is that it might be just a little bit easier to operate. You won't have to be rearranging things as much as you would with the Vulture. And having two systems in play makes it maybe a little bit easier for the user to keep salvaging.
I think that the team did a really good job. Shout out to Chris Smith, Jen, Joey, also Chad's team, and Pierre-Luc and Mitch. They did a great job on the new tech.
That's a very pleasant ship crash right there. It's just like kind of propped on top of it. Okay, so a couple things here. The choice for this ship is a really great one. It's fantastic to have two fairly comparable ships. Both have similar storage, similar size, so similar emissions and signatures. Similar style of gameplay, but two pretty obvious strengths. This one having the ability to have not just a tractor beam, or not just a salvage beam, but also a tractor beam on there to help you if you want, or whatever other utility might pop up that we could throw onto the other mount. It also can salvage faster, obviously. And it has its own aesthetic that people like. This one is easier to use. It's all one floor, cargo stored on the outside. And this got VTOL engines. That's going to help a lot in atmosphere when you're doing something like salvaging in the future, because that requires a lot of hovering around and moving around. VTOL is going to be huge for that. So this is probably going to end up being the more popular starting salvage ship whenever control surfaces start to pick up. But I also think this is going to be really good for two-player crews. Imagine if you had a Nomad and one of these. Basically, if you can eject all of your salvage out onto this cargo grid without having to get up and go down here to hit the button, like because it's auto eject, you could sit in your pilot seat and your friend could sit in their Nomad pilot seat, and between the salvage here and the tractor beam on the Nomad, you guys would never have to get out of your seats until returning all the way to the space station. So this addition could make multi-team, multi-person salvage operations way easier to do together. I do still think this has a place, but it's kind of funny that the Vulture, like, it's the cons of the Vulture are design related, like real world design related, as in you made it with like, it doesn't move all the boxes around itself. It has a ladder that makes it harder for people to get up and go down and like pick it up. It's like they're the things that you didn't really get the first time. It's almost like going from a V1 to a V2 design. Not in that this is so much better, just that it clearly has learned from these problems, but now we have the choice of the two. And I think that's going to happen across industry. That was weird way to say it. Either way, we are in the age of industry. I think we're going to see more of stuff like this when it comes to mining, salvage, engineering. Repair should be in here soon. Obviously, base building is another part where this will be a thing. And refining at some point. So expect a lot more variety in industrial ships, because we have run through combat about as much as I think everybody is happy to, although I'm sure we'll keep pushing it. Either way, hope you're interested in this. Is, I guess, the first ship coming this year. Hope this is helpful for salvagers. I would say, as always, wait to grab it in game if you're interested in it. There's already a salvage ship in there, so it's not like this is gameplay gated behind buying the ship. I'd just give it a quarter, pick it up in a little bit. Another thing that I think is kind of weird with this ship. Man, I was hoping we wouldn't see this. It genuinely looks like they are starting to push forward with the design of the ship focused around disintegration. Which is like, why?
Between
Maelstrom is a thing. These do not look like they are like crunching, clawing kind of machines like you find on the Vulture and the Reclaimer. So the fact that they are doing what I just said, taking all those things that they figured out about how the gameplay is supposed to work, and then this is what we're getting. That could lie, that raises my concern levels a little bit. I'm assuming I think all been kind of assuming that Maelstrom, I don't know if they said anything officially, they might have, I forgot, that Maelstrom, or at least some form of the damage system, would allow the ships to still be actually taken into parts and not just disintegrated. It would be exhausting if it was just sticking to disintegration for salvage, but we'll see what they do. As long as it's not sticking to just like a single button press and there's more to it, that would be good. But I hope they can communicate to us more what's going on with salvage after this. Either way, hope you enjoyed this quick look at the first ship coming to Star Citizen in 2025. They'll be doing these every month, so we'll cover them every month. And besides that, same as always, starting next week inside Star Citizen Live. See you guys then. Bye.